Catlike Reflexes! Hello everybody, it's Bryan over at Catlike Reflexes. Welcome to the program. I have a slightly different kind of program today. It's just me. It's just Bryan. None of the other podcasts are here today. And that's because I'm away this weekend attending Niagara Falls Comic Con, and I thought that on today's episode I would tell you all about it and also talk a little bit about Comic Cons in general. Now, we did do an episode not too long ago about Comic Cons. You can listen to that if you go back into the Catlike archives. But right now I just want to talk a little bit about Niagara Falls Comic Con. I just came back. I'm going to be heading back a little bit later too. It's a really good Comic-Con. If you're from Ontario and you do like cons, definitely give Niagara Falls a shot, because if you've been to Fan Expo in Toronto or any of the big ones, even Ottawa, they are great cons, but they are very, very difficult because they're really big, especially Fan Expo. And if you've only been to Fan Expo and you think cons aren't for you, definitely give Niagara Falls a try. All the things that you don't like about Toronto probably will be fixed if you come to Niagara Falls. It's super well-run con. What I love is that, first of all, there's a lot of room. Often in other cons, they really pack the vendors in, and everyone's shoulder to shoulder, packed in like sardines, and I don't personally care for that. I know I'm not alone. I don't like being packed in like sardines. I feel claustrophobic, but at Niagara Falls, their space is set up such that there are wide aisles. They're set up that there's good flow, and I've never at any point felt uneasy or claustrophobic at this con. This is my second Niagara Falls con, so that is very good. They have good guests this year. They have David Hasselhoff. They have the Scoleri brothers from the Goonies, as well as Sean Astin. There's Lando is here. Lots of people. I just had my photo taken with Robert Davi, who some of you may know from the Goonies. He was one of the brothers. Also, he was in Die Hard, but I know him best as the villain Sanchez in the James Bond film License to Kill. And so I had my photo taken with him today. I'm going to post it on the Catlike Reflexes Twitter a little bit later on if you want to check it out. Niagara Falls also has great volunteers. In other cons I've been to, sometimes, the volunteers are usually, they're really friendly, they're really nice, but sometimes maybe they're not very knowledgeable, they haven't been trained very well, but at Niagara Falls, everyone is super helpful, super polite, and I've never had any serious problems. Niagara Falls Comic Con just seems to really respect the people who attend. They respect their attendees. I've been to others where it just kind of feels like they're grabbing your money and stuffing you in there. But I never got that feeling in Niagara Falls. So if you're listening to this, anybody from Niagara Falls Comic Con, good job. Also, if you are coming to Niagara Falls anyway, you've got the falls you can see. There's all kinds of attractions. I went to the Ripley's Museum yesterday, did a little mini putt. There's no shortage of fun things to do while you're here in Niagara Falls. So I can't say enough good things about it. That said, there are a few things that I like to get off my chest when it comes to Comic-Cons. And this is not about Niagara Falls specifically, but I'd like to consider this an open letter to people who attend Comic-Con. Some of y'all piss me off. And first and foremost, I want to say, get out of the goddamned way. If you're at Comic-Con, even in a well-run one like this, there's a lot of people, and everyone's trying to get somewhere. And sometimes you just kind of have to go with the flow. And if you want to stop and look at something, that's fine, but just step to the side. Because often what will happen is, especially in the busy part of the day, people will dawdle. They'll just walk really slowly, or they'll just stand there looking at something like with their mouths open, and they're standing right in the middle of where people are trying to walk. And especially if you're in a busy place like the autograph alley where the celebrities are signing autographs, you're going to want to move it along. Don't just stand there gawking. Also, if you have like a backpack or something, first of all, don't. And secondly, if you do, take it off, because if you're walking around with that thing, you're banging people left and right, just like when you're riding the bus, you know? It's any packed, crowded public place, just take off your backpack. Come on, what's the matter with you? And that goes for needlessly large cosplay as well. Obviously, there's a lot of cosplay going on at Comic-Con. If you are doing cosplay, first of all, awesome. I love cosplay. But if you are wearing a parade float, don't just walk around in the middle of the Comic-Con. Everyone will see you. Don't worry, you're going to get plenty of attention. But if you're wearing a giant thing, or you're a Harley Quinn with a giant hammer, there's a lot of those, just be mindful that there's other people around, and not everybody cares about your cosplay. They're just trying to get from one place to another. And, you know, everyone's packed in there. We all got to work together, you know? Speaking of cosplay, I got a few beefs about cosplay. Although I love it. I love seeing all the costumes and all the creativity that people have. But if you are dressed as Doctor Who, any Doctor Who, or anything related to Doctor Who, that's not very original. Everyone is dressed as Doctor Who. If you just wear like a bow tie and a fez, like, don't expect me to really care about your costume. Doctor Who cosplay is like the lowest rung of cosplay. Just a guy in a coat. Also, if you're dressed as the Joker, nobody thinks you're dark and mysterious. You just kind of look like a skeevy, greasy loser. But maybe that's just me. Getting away from cosplay a little bit, I don't know if this is a pet peeve, because it is something I always do. If you're going to Artist Alley, if you're an artist in Artist Alley, don't make me buy a pity comic. I've had to buy so many pity comics over the years. You go to Artist Alley, and someone's selling their little indie comic, which is great. I love indie comics. But often you'll get the hard sell, and somebody will be like, dude, do you like comics? I got this cool comic about whatever. And then you got to sit there while they describe it to you, and you're really not interested. And then in the end, you end up spending like $12 on comics that you really don't want. And look, I know it's really nice that you're the artist and that you sign the comic after, but if nobody knows who you are, that's not as big an enticement as you probably think it is. That said, please do keep making indie comics, and if they're any good, I'd like to buy them. But pity comics are the worst. I bought many of those over the years. I've also, of course, one of the big things about Comic-Con is shopping, so I have picked up quite a few things. In Artist Alley, this was not a pity buy, by the way. I picked up Studio Comics' The Night Spike, which is sort of about a superhero who wants to be a superhero. He wants to be the best superhero in a world full of superheroes, but he does not himself have any powers. And it looks, I've only sort of browsed at it so far, but it looks pretty funny. So that's Studio Comics with an X. You can find them on Facebook. I also picked up a book I was looking for called Moonshot, singular, excuse me. And it is a collection of, it's an anthology of comics by different Aboriginal artists, and it's edited by Hope Nicholson, who you may know as the person who's responsible for some of the reprinting of old Canadian comics from the 40s, like Nelvana of the Northern Lights, or just recently Brock Windsor, which I've been enjoying very much. And she edited this collection of stories from Aboriginal artists, and I just bought it. I've just been flipping through it, but I'm very excited to go through the whole thing. Also, I was able to get with that book called Titan, and it is an alternate history, it says on the cover, about someone who travels through time and keeps trying to take over the world. I'm very excited about that, too. I'm also picking up a book that I bought on a Kickstarter. Someone who is a close collaborator with Hope Nicholson, mentioned earlier. And that is Johnny Canuck, which is another comic from the 40s. And it is sort of the black and white comics from the 40s that probably could have just been lost to time. But thanks to their efforts on Kickstarter, they've all been collected in one volume, and now they'll be around, hopefully, forever. So those are super cool, too. So yeah, I'm going to head back in there in a little while. You caught me mid-con here. Sorry I don't have any of the other PodCats with me. They are back in town, and they, I believe, are doing a Mad Max marathon. So we're going to hear a little bit about that in a subsequent podcast. So let me know what you think. Are you at Niagara Falls Comic Con 2015? Let me know. Maybe you've been here before. What are your thoughts about different kinds of cons? Maybe you just think I'm an asshole and you want to tell me about it. You can reach us by email at info@catlikereflexes.com. Also, you can, please, especially if you're here at the con, contact us via Twitter at CRPodcast. And of course, you can find all the information, including links to our YouTube, Tumblr, and all that, over at catlikereflexes.com. So thanks for listening, everybody, and we will catch you next time on Catlike Reflexes.
It's a journey, not the end of Piitz. As the sun reaches sea, you'll see the light of day. When things come to a close, you'll finally make your way.
The music at the beginning and ending of today's episode of Catlike Reflexes was No Matter How You See It by Fuse. I discovered their music on Jamendo.com, and so can you. Or you can find a link to it at our website, www.catlikereflexes.com.